Welcome to Real Flix Reviews. We're like a book club for people who hate reading. This month we're doing Robin Williams comedies, and this will be a last one. And Rob picked the movie Jumanji, made in 1995. We talk about Firefly episode 13, Trash, and he brings you movie news at the end of the program. This week we have Jonathan Charney, James Stevens.
Hello.
And the old guy.
So I'll read the description. It's another IMDb classic. When two kids find and play a magic board game, they release a man trapped for decades in it, and a host of dangerous things that can only be stopped by finishing the game.
Yeah, finish. We gotta finish the game.
So this was a very young Kirsten Dunst.
Kirsten.
And Robin Williams.
Kirsten.
Close enough.
Bonnie Hunt's always been my cutie. She was in my generation, and I always loved Bonnie Hunt.
Didn't Babe and her, I can't pronounce her name. Wasn't she? Yeah, she played what's her name in Cheers.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, she's been in a lot of stuff. Right now, she's in a new TV series. The Secretary, I think it is.
Yeah, because and you also had David Allen Greer, who's done a lot of stuff.
Yeah,
so
you've got a lot of very well-known actors.
In living color.
Well, I'd say this was more like a lot of B-list besides Robin Williams and a future big star, Kirsten.
Well, this is the second major movie that Kirsten Dunst has ever done at a young age. The first one being Interview with the Vampire.
Oh, that's right.
Which was a year before. And Little Woman, which was a year before. But those were really, she didn't have much going for her at the time.
So as I was watching this, I was kind of going through the list of horror movie don'ts. Never go upstairs, never go near.
Now, would you actually consider this a horror movie?
No, but the rules apply.
Okay.
But the rules should apply.
Yes, the rules do apply.
Not in Jumanji, the world.
Yeah, people coming up with for the excuses for freaky stuff that's happening. I was actually thinking if they made this more of a horror movie, I actually think it'd be really good.
It would have been,
like,
but David Allen Greer's character would have died.
I'm fine.
Yeah, I mean, come on, guys, this is a comedy.
He was the police officer.
No.
The police officers always die.
Always die.
Especially the black police officer.
Hey,
I thought. Did you see how he got out of those handcuffs when that car crashed through that store?
Oh yeah, it was pretty quick.
Hey, that was pretty good.
No, but what I was saying is, I actually think
it'd take him a while.
Right, I was actually thinking they could have ramped this up far as even nowadays and reproduced this as a horror movie, and I actually think it would have done very well.
Do you know this one was actually besides the little cartoon series that came out after it, trying to keep the little Jumanji thing going, this was actually supposed to continue on with the special effects genre that Jurassic Park was supposed to be, and that just it didn't fit. I just read that recently. I'm like, no.
See, the problem
is it didn't quite do it.
The CGI in this movie is horrible. It ages very poorly. They're physically a different color than the background. They don't fit.
It's 1995. Give them a little bit of slack. 1995.
There was a couple things that were still pretty cool, like when the plant thing pulled the car and split in between the trees.
Was that a physical effect or CGI? Because that was the only. Because to me, that was one of the very few things that really fit in.
That's one of the things that you don't really know, because it was just one of those that could have been borderline either or. So it could have been a special effects trick.
Because I was to say, the reason why I think Jurassic Park ages well is because it was physical effects, practical effects, and CGI. That will always look better than CGI or physical together.
I can't. For some reason, my mind's not working. That plant, you remember that big plant that opened up and the thing came shooting out of it?
Man-eating.
It looked like a little shop of horrors.
That's what it always made me think of. Seymour.
I mean, that was a total ripoff of that plant.
It was. There was some things that crossed over in this movie. A lot of the special effects tricks crossed over, and as John was saying, there was a lot of CGI in this film.
Almost everything was, all the monsters and the stuff that happened with CGI.
Yeah, one of my favorite characters in the entire movie, the monkeys, were CGI.
Oh yeah.
And I actually want to throw out a little bit of props to them getting this guy, Tom Woodruff Jr. I was looking up his career, and he has an amazing career. I was reading the stuff to these guys before, and he did a lot of the special effects of the lion and crocodile and things like that, but he has got an amazing career. And I bet you he helped a lot with those camera tricks and probably those things.
You know, they know they could count
He's
on
at the
this guy
bottom.
to stick, to stick into a costume and make that character come to life. You know?
Yeah. So, but you know, for me, this one, the one thing I have to say about this film, and Robin Williams being kind of one of the main stars in this film, is that it's one of those movies that you can see Robin Williams transfer from an adult-oriented movie to a family-oriented movie, and he does it very well. And he does it in a way that you can have the fun with the kids as well as... I mean, there's not a lot of adult things in this one, but it's a family movie.
It is a family movie. And one of the things that I was watching Robin Williams, I think he stayed on script more in this movie than any of the others we've seen. So he really was right on script most of the time. You didn't see him going manic, crazy, running off, you know, with the usual Robert Williams stuff.
Well, I think we should... preference by saying what we think a family movie actually is, because obviously a kids movie is a movie generally geared towards kids, where adults will watch it, you know, depending on what they're, you know, they like.
What I consider a family movie is something where the adults can get a little bit of enjoyment out of it too, but it's mostly for the kids.
Right.
There's nothing that you're going to be like, okay, well, I don't think that guy's head should have popped right then. For the kids, you know, or you kind of have to cover their eyes for some make-out sex scene.
So they toe the line between tasteful and adult-oriented.
And it's interesting because they call it adventure family fantasy. So
that pretty much
fits. I think
that's a good classification for it.
Yeah.
And I actually enjoyed watching it again. It was fun. It's in a lighthearted way, in a dark way. I don't know. You know, there were things in it that were unique. I mean, I liked the plant. I thought the plant was pretty cool.
I was gonna say
the spiders were terrible. Though.
I was gonna say I thought they got off pretty light. Like here's in order the stuff that they rolled the dice on. It was giant bugs, those giant mosquitoes, which by the way would suck. You got monkeys, lions,
no kidding.
Man-eating plants, Van Pelt, the hunter, kid turned into a monkey because he cheated, monsoon. Quicksand, which the quicksand effect I thought didn't age well, but that was a really cool effect, especially when it turned back into wood.
Yeah.
The giant spiders, like we said, were like little. Remember when you were a kid, you got those little wound up toys? That's what it was.
It was bad.
And the earthquake. Which,
all right.
But overall, they didn't have a whole lot of stuff happen.
No, they really didn't. Not in the scheme of things. Like if you play Magic or something like that, one of those really dice-oriented games.
Yeah.
That takes a long time.
Yeah, totally. Well, I just want to know who's going to go, if you hear boom, 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 and you're the only person here, who's going to make you go to boom, 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 boom? I mean, it's not the Telltale Heart, so who's going to walk near it?
You know, my wife...
I'd be curious.
My wife brought up
I would keep... I would probably keep my ass away from it, or at least if I uncovered it and saw it was a board game, say my ass is leaving it there.
I'd take my gun and go hunt it down.
Yeah, well, my wife brought up a good point. If you don't want somebody to play the games anymore, take the pieces and take the board and throw them at separate places.
That would make too much sense.
Now, there is a book about this, and that may have happened in the book. If somebody out there is that much of a fan of Jumanji, you can tell me I'm full of crap. But
the book was a little kid's book, because I actually remember I used to have a copy. I mean, it's really not that thick. I mean, this is based entirely off a kid's book. And there was a sequel to the book called Zuthra?
Yeah, Xanthra.
Yeah,
Xanthra, which actually is a movie, which, you know, so it's a sequel
and I
to
saw it, and it wasn't that great. It was kind of a letdown again. No. And I guess Zathura, A Space Adventure, which came out in 2005. And I guess, according to the book, is the kids that find it at the end, those kids that stumble across it at the end of the movie, their names are supposed to be Walter and Danny, and they're the main characters of Zathura. But I didn't really like the movie, Zathura. I mean, it was just a kid's thing.
You know, it's funny. Have you guys? This is weird. I decided just to see it won some awards, but
really?
It's not like it's an Academy Awards. They're Saturn Awards.
Okay.
So what we need to do is, what the hell's a Saturn Award?
Well, Saturn Award.
It got Bunny Hunt got for Best Supporting Actress. I got Best Special Effects. It got Best Fantasy Film. Robin Williams got Best Actor. Let's see. Best Performance by a Younger Actor, which was Kirsten.
Kirsten.
Yeah. Kirsten. She was considered younger at that point, so she got an award for that.
Before she became Mary Jane.
So it's kind of funny that, whatever Saturns are, anyway, that's what they won. Good for them.
Yeah. Yeah, they won something. It's a good thing.
So here what it is, according to the bastion of all knowledge, that being Wikipedia, the Saturn Award is an award presented annually by the Academy of Science Fiction, Fantasy, and Horror.
Oh, okay, good.
Which I could actually
cool,
see this, because this is definitely
that's what this falls under.
Yeah, this is fiction. I mean, this is science. Fantasy, a little bit of horror, definitely adventure, and that was the one thing that I actually thought was really cool about this, because it's a typical, roll the dice, the events and stuff make the story go on. But I actually thought it was really well done.
Yeah.
And for being a basic movie, nothing complicated. The script was very thin.
There was nothing complicated at all. And I liked David Alan Grier's character in this film. Mm-hmm. I enjoyed that. Mm-hmm. He's one of the more fun characters in the film. It
was funny.
But like I gotta say, I mean, the most animated and fun thing in the entire film to me was the monkeys.
You like the monkey? They make the most. They trash anything, man. You put those monkeys in there, you better watch out.
Well, I actually think
they drive motorcycles and cars.
I want to go back to it.
And can fire shotguns.
Yeah.
I want to go back to what James said as David Alan Grier. I actually think he was the kind of the silent star in this movie, because I don't think this movie would have been as good without him.
No.
Because he provides a much needed comedy sense to a movie that otherwise would have been a little heavy.
And I mean, he took the fall for a little kid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, really, come on.
Right.
That shows that he had some character, and that was early in the film.
Well, that was basic the beginning.
It was right at the beginning, right?
Yeah. That was like one of the premises, and it was a nice little Easter egg later on in the film when everything gets set right. Mm-hmm. Where you whereas I gotta pull up the kid's name. It was like Peter or something, right? Who Robin Williams played as an adult, Alan Parrish. That's right. Alan Parrish. And where he steps up and goes, "Hey, Dad, that was me." At the end. It was a nice little thing.
Yeah.
You kind of got him out of trouble.
You know what's interesting on trivia? Parrish shoes are still around. You can still find them.
Where?
In New England.
Okay.
Right here.
I was going to say, I've never heard of them.
Well, New England is what's left of the U.S. Manufacturing area. That's where almost all shoes came from, was New England. My wife's grandfather worked as a cobbler, whatever you call him. I'm assuming that's it.
Whatever, shoeman.
Mm-hmm.
So does anything here that the film that you thought was very random, like the pelican scene with Jumanji, was probably the part that thought was a little random.
Feeding the fish, his hand wasn't wet. It says here, and okay, yeah.
Well, but besides that, I meant just the actual scene, because the pelican scene to me was like, that was random. I understand it added a little comedy sense, it extended the movie by a little bit, but I thought it's like that didn't really add anything to movie. Like if you cut that scene away, it wouldn't take away and or add.
True.
Yeah.
And who knows how much was left on the on the cutting room floor, as they say. It was edited out or edited in. I mean, obviously they filmed a lot more than what we saw. So it's a matter of just figuring out what scenes work and which don't. And overall, I thought, other than some, like they were saying, one of the dumb things was the animals that did the stampede. They stampeded through the house, and there were big gaping holes in the walls and everything. And then the flood scene comes, and those holes aren't there. So the house repaired itself somehow.
Well, it's a magic house.
Well, that would
it's the house from House.
Well, part of that would actually I think would make sense, because remember the quicksand, the boards turn back into wood, so maybe it was the same thing. When you rolled the dice, some damage would be redone.
Resets the damage?
Yeah, for some damage.
I'll accept it. I don't care. But then,
that was the only thing I could think of.
I just think it's kind of, it was a good, a good goof to talk about anyway, I thought.
The one thing that always kind of bothered me was the hunter, whatever his name was, Van Pelt, whatever. The guy's supposed to be a hunter, right? Mm-hmm. And he's a big game hunter.
Bad big game hunter. Big game.
There we go. Dude could not hit anything. And that gun was a big gun. What would you say? That was an 80 caliber gun?
Oh, probably. I don't know what it was.
The first gun he had?
Yeah.
Because
the rifle.
My favorite was the
second. Probably a Holland & Holland.
No,
something.
Because my favorite one was the second one with a beta mag, and he still couldn't hit anything with
and the
100 and
silencer.
something rounds. Yeah.
It had a silencer.
Well, you saw what he paid with
Of
it.
all the gold.
Yeah, I mean, he could have walked away with half that store.
So the question is, do you think the gold disappeared when he did?
Yeah,
It would
maybe,
really suck to be that gun store owner.
Well, obviously he was not an honest gun store owner, so he
That's
deserved
true.
to lose.
That's
the
true. You're all right.
Jeez.
He didn't follow the law.
He didn't follow.
There's
the
a lot of
law.
law. This is
And remember, there was a waiting period, and the gold.
95. What was it? 95? Yeah, there was a waiting
95.
period.
I was
That
thinking,
even said it. There
you know
was
who got the best deal out of the whole thing was Robin Williams' character and Bonnie Hunt. At the end of the movie, got to relive their childhood.
Yes, they did.
From the beginning. That's not a bad deal. Have a crappy childhood, have a shitty adulthood, go back in time and know what not to do.
They had the memories.
Yeah.
They didn't lose the memories. They still had the memories of the adventure.
I would be pulling a Biff from Back to the Future and betting on games I paid attention to.
Well, the problem is that Alan Parrish's character wasn't there.
But
He
she
was
had to
stuck in Jumanji.
Well, she
Yeah.
had to remember something. Come on, bet on the Yankees. Bet on the,
Bet on the
Go to a
what
sports
was
book,
that?
something
Yeah,
you could really remember.
what was that World Series? That was the fixed game. When was
Pete
that?
Rose?
A really big one.
I
Yeah.
don't know.
You see, no, I would totally. If you're gonna do that, totally. I totally lost my train of thought.
Well, just saying that, my problem is I wouldn't remember who won. I go, okay, I can go bet on this.
Nah, I wouldn't either.
I'd bet the wrong way.
Yeah.
All right. The only one that I can say for sure is when Secretariat was going to run and win the Triple Crown. Now that, or if I was there, that one I wouldn't remember. The rest of it, forget it.
So, do you guys have a favorite monster? I mean, it seems like Rob really loved the man-eating plant.
I did. The plant was cute. I kind of liked that plant.
I gotta say, I still really enjoyed the monkeys.
Yeah.
They were the comic
You like the
relief to me of the
monkey,
movie.
and I liked the
I
plant.
don't know if I really had a favorite character. One of my favorite parts, though, is when Kirsten Dunst got that poison dart to the neck, and you just saw her go crump, like that part was kind of random.
Yeah,
Because
true.
it was like apparently not fast acting, because you saw her get up, throw the dice, then like 5 minutes later,
Blunk. That's true.
But yeah, I guess I got to go with both of you.
You know
They're
what?
both pretty funny.
I thought the mosquitoes were actually done fairly well. When you're talking about CGI, as poorly done as those spiders were done. As far as an insect, the mosquito was a better looking mosquito. As far as when he was tapping on the glass.
I love the reaction to it. By the way, they're like, "Stay down, it can't hurt you."
Ugh. I'd like tennis racket. I love the
Yeah,
I'm
she was
sure
a pretty good hit with that.
Oh,
thing.
she did. I'm surprised that Robin Williams didn't have some kind of comment and say, "Oh, he must be on the tennis court a lot."
Yeah.
But,
that was
he stayed on script on this. one.
Actually, you remind me of that Burns scene. When the beginning when Robin Williams first shaved.
Oh.
And
Oh, yeah,
Kirsten
yeah.
Dunst said, "What happened? You shaved your glass?" And he said, "Did
Give me a break. This is my first time shaving.
yeah?" And his response to that, "Did the Clampetts have a reunion or something?" Which was funny. She wouldn't get it.
No, she
A
wouldn't
yard
get it.
sale or something. I kind of killed the joke.
I gotta say that if you read the continuity, there's a lot of people that really nitpick this film.
They did.
Like this one, Carl's license plate is G2298, but when he recovers it from the monkey's joyride, it has Mrs. Thompson's plate, DBA454 on the front.
When you get to that point, you have way
Who
too
the
much
hell
time.
is Mrs. Thompson?
You have way too much time in your life.
How many times did you watch this film to get that?
You got to give him credit. That's something that I wouldn't have thought of. So we're gonna switch to what would you give this movie?
Like I said, this film does have a lot of redeeming factors. Like Rob said, Robin Williams was not bouncing all over the place on this film.
Which was nice, actually.
It was him very much reeled in. It wasn't him acting goofy, strange, erotic, anything like that. It was very poignant, I guess is the way to put it.
But it is another hurt character, though.
Yeah, it's true. But there's a lot of fun things that you can do that you can enjoy with the whole family. So this one's a very good film, and I would say it's a 3. It's not one that, you got to jump out, run out and see, but it's one that could be there if you want to and have enjoyment with the kids.
If your kids hadn't seen it before and you're looking for a movie to watch over the holiday season, that type of thing, I would certainly recommend it. I'm with James. I'm going to give it a 3 as well, just because it was fun. I mean, I didn't get up and walk out of it and pulling my hair out saying, oh my God, I got to sit through another hour of this movie type of thing.
We saw this in theaters when it came out, and since our fellow compatriot Ryan is possibly working, bride. This is what he said by a text message, believe it or not. He said, 4 out of 5. Everything about this movie holds up.
I can see Ryan.
This story is great, especially with William shepherding us through it. Great pacing, great supporting cast. The only thing I would disagree with him is the CGI on this didn't age well. But it's also a product of your time because it's early-ish CGI.
I would disagree with him on the fact that the film really holds up. I don't think there's a lot that really holds up in its time, but
I'm not so sure. I agree. I'm not so sure that I would go along with it. I think there's a lot that doesn't hold up, but I can see Ryan going that way, and he enjoys that kind of movie.
But you want to know why I think it holds up? Because it's still basically it's good family entertainment. Nothing stands out enough that you're gonna go, oh dear God, this is awful, like some movies do from the 90s. But this movie, even though you can spot the flaws, like the CGI doesn't blend well and a few other
license
things,
plates,
it still gets you,
idiot.
Still gets you through it. You still enjoy it, which I give it a 3 out of 5. Entertaining movie. It's one of these movies. If it's ever on TV, I'll watch. But so
sometimes I'll pass it by. It depends on my mood.
Yeah.
But I haven't seen this on TV in a long time. But I liked it, so I'll definitely give it a 3 out of 5. And I'm going to shift over to James talking about Firefly.
Yes, Firefly. Now, this one is basically, it brings back Mal's wife, and, just the fun whore that she is. Not as bad as of a whore as Anara.
Whatever her name wants to be at whatever given time, right?
Yeah.
Saffron.
Yeah, not as much of a whore as Anara, but, anyways.
She's not a whore, she's licensed.
True. Yeah. The other one's not so licensed. But, this one, I like this one because for the character, because you could tell that if Josh Whedon was going to continue with this series, that she was going to be basically an Easter egg that popped up every maybe season or two. And because she is a returning character that has a lot of history and background that you can play with.
And always one that's going to be a pain in the ass, and you're always going to have some sort of shenanigans happen.
Yeah, like Mal being stripped and left out in the middle of nowhere.
I do say my favorite scene in this whole thing is the end of it when, I can never remember the licensed woman of ill repute.
Anara.
Anara was out there and basically told her, oh, you've been played. We did this from the beginning.
Yeah.
Except Mal apparently being naked.
Yeah, that was a little tidbit. But, and I like the fact that Nathan Fillion had fun with that character.
Yeah.
Like he was just standing on the back, kind of like Peter Pan, just hanging out on the back, just watching the gate close.
Fine. I really enjoyed this episode because it went back in time and showed, them during the war period of time and how, they got together and what that was all about. I really just enjoyed this episode. It tied a lot of things together that you've been waiting to get to, and it took to this point to get to that. And I just really enjoyed it. I mean, I'm, really like Firefly anyway, but I really enjoyed this particular episode. Thought it was well done.
We're going to save the rest of this conversation till we do the Firefly only episode, which is coming up in a couple of weeks.
About 2 weeks.
Want to remind everybody, we do have a Facebook page. Shocking.
Woohoo!
Hey, is there a theme, a movie, genre, or hey, do you want to tell us we suck? Like the Wing Commander Forum, come at us, please. Maybe, a little pause for
the... Have they said anything since?
No.
Oh.
How about a little pause for the cause and give us some money? Help us continue the amazing show that is Real Flix Reviews. So next up is the old guy with
I got some
movie
news. And I went old fashioned. I printed it out because I was finding so much. There was a ton of movie news this week.
His ticker tape.
Wow.
Yeah, no, really, there really was. And I thought instead of trying to make links and everything, I started doing some stuff. a couple of things of which is really interesting. Right off the bat, for those of you who haven't watched television today, it looks like North Korea lost internet. It's cut off from the world.
Good.
So
and that does have to do with movie news because of the movie The Interview that may or may not ever be released, really depending on what Sony does.
I guarantee you it's going to be released, and I bet Sony makes a ton of money on this because everybody's going to watch it just to get back to North Korea.
I'm kind of hoping that this is a viral campaign and they did it to themselves.
I hope so.
Well, yeah, but anyway, so North Koreans, I'm sorry you can't watch us, so the heck with you guys. Star Trek 3 will be directed by Justin Lin, which is a different take here. So that was kind of interesting.
Because the other guy's doing Star Wars.
Right.
Justin
Lin.
Well, yeah.
Did he say what he's done? Any?
Fast and Furious 6, Fast and Furious, Fast 5.
Right. He did the Fast Serious. He's obviously not J.J. Abrams, but it's interesting that they went with a different director this time.
So I wonder if the Enterprise is going to have unneeded decals.
Maybe. And we've been waiting for the Wonder Woman movie.
Have we? I haven't been waiting for it.
And unfortunately, even though they've picked the cast and they've done everything, doesn't look like the movie's going to get made. It's basically on a point of we don't know if we're going to make it or not now.
You know what? You have a feeling it's completely dependent on the Ben Affleck. I can remember the guy who's playing Superman. And my guess it's completely based on that movie. That if that movie does
whatever.
Yeah, the guy who's played the new Son of Krypton.
I actually liked him.
I have a feeling that if that movie does well, they'll probably do it because they know the DC wants to match Marvel's movies. I don't know if they can do it as well because you're going against the mouse.
Well, if they did it like the Wonder Woman movie that came out, the cartoon, the animated one where she was decapitating everybody left and right, I think it would go.
See, I don't think they're going to be able to do it because I think they're going to do just like Marvel did. You got to have the most mass market appeal, and with this one being one of the few female superheroes, I don't see him doing.
Well, there were some DC characters that I really liked.
No, don't get me wrong. I'm a huge Batman fan.
Yeah.
But I just don't know if they can do it because they don't have the House of Mouse. I actually think that's one of the major things that's making Marvel go.
Well, we'll see. You don't know where Disney's going to go with any of this, and they're known for not being able to make up their mind.
Well, here's the difference. Disney has, if I remember correctly, they had 3 waves planned for Marvel movies. The Guardians of the Galaxy was considered the second wave, and I think Doctor Strange is part of the second or third wave because I think they actually had this planned out in advance of what they're going to do because Chris Evans, who played Captain America, had a 6-picture deal. So I think they. Well,
there's the news. I mean, you wanted me to give news. I do have one more thing. Do you guys old enough to remember Westworld?
Yes,
TV?
I've seen it.
Okay, so
I've seen the movie.
Seen the movie? What movie? It was a TV series.
No, it was a movie too.
Okay.
Okay. Well, then it's going to be in a movie again. Westworld was kind of a dude ranch, but it was set where people, the robots were really interactive, and they could shoot the robots, and they can do stuff, all that. But anyway.
James Brolin, huh?
Yeah. Wow. It's coming out. They're going to do a movie.
1973.
Yep, there you go.
A robot malfunction creates havoc and terror for the unsuspecting vacationers at a futuristic, adult-themed amusement park.
I might have to look this movie up.
Yeah. But anyway, look it up. There's going to be a new one coming out, but it won't be for a while. But I thought that was kind of interesting. I think with the new CGI and stuff that you're going to be able to do now, that could be a great movie.
I hope.
Or at least fun.
I do hope, at least on future movies, they stop doing so much CGI. Don't get me wrong, I like it, but I think the best movies are practical and CGI, and I think Westworld, Wild West themes and that, I think that'd be perfect for doing practical with the addendum of CGI.
Okay, well, this movie can only be made with the combination because you're going to have...
Ask Peter Jackson and... ask the guy who made all the Transformers movies, and ask J.J. Abrams, and ask,
Yeah, I know. But I think to make it what it what it needs to be, they're going to really need to make those robots realistic.
Yeah, so basically you agree with me.
Okay.
I just basically said what you
I
said.
don't care. Yes, you did.
Okay.
Okay. So there's movie news for you.
Bad. So
Bad.
next week is our theater pick, and we picked The
The
Hobbit,
Hobbit.
The Battle of Five Armies. This is the last in the trilogy that is The Hobbit, and somehow they made 9 hours worth of movies and a very small book. But either way, we're seeing The Hobbit next week.
Well, it's a 2,500 page book, 28, something like that.
The Hobbit?
Yeah.
It was like 300
No,
pages.
1,000, 2,000, something like that.
The Hobbit?
Depends on which one you're reading.
We'll discuss
Okay.
this later because he's wrong.
That's cute.
So
we're going to go see The Hobbit. We're going to see
Yeah.
some big feet.
And
next,
then,
and next week is
the
also
last episode,
Firefly episode 14.
The Message.
Which is episode 14?
13,
13?
14.
14, whatever.
14.
Well, hopefully we'll get
The
this figured
Message. Go watch the episode, The Message.
Eventually we'll figure this out.
Well, it's the last one.
We'll figure it out by
So
now.
we can just say, it's the last one.
So, and it's
14,
also
whatever.
the end
I
of
don't
our Robin Williams tributes. We want to say thank you for
Thank you,
putting
Robin
up with
Williams,
us,
for
and,
everything that you did for us.
a sad farewell to a very interesting and great comedian and drama actor. I gave the movie Jumanji a 3 to 5. James gave it a 3 to 5. Ryan gave it an impressive 4 to 5. Rob gave it a 3 to 5. Next week is The Hobbit by Peter Jackson. And as always, we'll see you next week.
Bye.
Thank you.